We are on. Hey, everyone. It's a wonderful Sunday morning, August 11th. The three jabronis are back recording the show, watching the U.S. women's basketball team shit the bed right now in a disappointing fashion. France just wants to jack up threes, and they're doing a good job of making them.
Francois.
Hey,
You
their
know, you
rock,
know,
their jerseys are sponsored by Jordan. I guess it didn't help for the men's France team, but the French women's teams are feeling a little Jordan-esque right now.
you know what the worst thing about this is if the U.S. women lose this game.
What is that going to be?
Never
it's gonna
gonna
come.
hear the end of the Caitlin Clark should have been on the Olympic team bullshit.
Yes, Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark and Angel Reese. You know,
I
it's only
don't.
25. It's 33-25. It's not terrible,
Well, it was 25-25 a couple minutes ago.
but
Yes,
it's in the third quarter. It's
yes.
33-25 in the third quarter.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
God!
Joe and I were looking at the box score
Brick
before you got
City.
on and
It's
before we
been
went
a very
live.
physical game,
They have built 5 houses in this game.
and the U.S. has a shit ton of turnovers. Like another one right there, another turnover.
This has been like the sloppiest, ugliest game of basketball I can remember seeing in a long time.
Jeremy, the way the U.S. women are playing right now is how they played in the WNBA All-Star game.
Nice.
Like it's just wow. And listen, the French team's good. Like they're a good team, well-rounded team. But at the same time, like, come on, ladies. We're supposed to have the best of the best, and you're not playing like the best of the best right now.
Oh, that is some weird form of that foul shot from the lady at the line right now.
Ah, yes, yes.
Well, they both went in, so
Yeah, hey, don't matter how they go in, as long as they go in.
I mean, they could bounce around the rim and go in. It's all good.
see now the problem, Joe, is like I said, maybe they need Griner on the floor more because when she was in there, she was making a couple easy baskets and everything. Now you're down 10 points, and now you got to start shooting from the outside. And who do they have on the team that's going to do that? Oh my God! Oh my!
That was a nice layup. She got rejected by the rim. Oh man.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
just playing. They're just playing like pure, unadulterated ass.
correct. They are playing like they forgot how to play the game.
Yeah, I was about to say they are playing like they have forgotten the basic fundamentals of the game.
Is
They're
that
getting
Tarasi
blitz.
bringing up the ball? Yeah, I believe that's Tarasi bringing up the ball.
Going for her sixth Olympic gold medal. Well, yeah,
I'm
she
not.
didn't do much to help.
I'm not sure if that was Taurasi or that was Kelsey Plum. Can't see. Oh, it was Plum. Plum's number
That's Plum.
5.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, she hit a three. I
Oh,
think
she
that
hit a
might
three.
be. I think that's their first made three of the game. So
All right. So wow, this
yeah, it
is
is. Yeah, it is. Jesus,
so
They have
Jesus
3-point
Christ,
shooters
man.
on the team, but at the same point, like,
They've only taken 4 shots. It's like I don't know what their strategy was, but right now their strategy should just be we need points. She
well,
almost
they
and
missed
they need
that
to get
layup on the break.
and they need to let's be honest. They need to get out in the fast break. They need to get in transition.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, France is definitely playing a
Most
style
most
than
teams are better in transition than
yeah.
they are setting up plays because the
For,
defense can lock in, especially in women's basketball. Women's basketball is definitely more defensively heavy
France
and
is definitely
sound.
playing a style that's meant to.
What the hell was that?
I think she
Throw
was
up
just
a
trying to
shot
draw the
from
foul.
nowhere.
She was just trying to draw the foul, I think. But
I know.
France is definitely playing a style that's meant to like shut down fast breaks.
Yes, yes, they do. They do.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I said, like another thing I said to Joe before we got on, I was like, they're playing like the 1990s Knicks style defense, where it was basically do everything you can to basically mug your the person you're guarding and hope the refs don't call the foul.
Yeah,
That was
pretty
the Pat
much.
Riley Knicks era defense, when like it was Ewing and Starks and Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley and
Yes.
guys who would put you on the floor without thinking twice.
Yes. So I got
Ah, man, I
so
miss those Knicks teams.
you said something right before we came on about an MVP for the Olympics and the fact that our favorite player of all time LeBron got the MVP of the Olympics for basketball. So, and we all know that, for Joe and I and our friend AJ when he was on here, we are all definitely more Jordan fans than LeBron fans. Like we definitely have Jordan above LeBron in our top, top 5, top 10, whatever you want to put them in. We have them 1 and 2. So for any LeBron fans out there that might watch this and be like, well, LeBron got that MVP. That is a sham of an award. Okay. It basketball, and I looked it up because I was like, how long has basketball been part of the Olympic Games? So I was like, I had to look it up. So I looked it up. Now, this is according to Wikipedia, so we know how well Wikipedia is. But before FIFA became the governing body of international basketball,
Fuck,
it was in
FIFA.
the Olympics starting in 1896.
Which was the first modern Olympics.
Right. So, and they've given that award out 3 times. So if they gave it out every single Olympics, that award would actually mean something. They pick and choose when they want to give it out, and they pick and choose who they want to give it to. It's
Listen,
a wasteful award. They shouldn't even have it in the Olympics. Nobody should have an MVP in the Olympics.
No, there should be no MVP award in the Olympics.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
agree.
Like
I
your
agree
gold
that
medal is your fucking award.
Right,
in
that's what I
regards
mean.
To, like that's the whole point of the Olympics, not getting some MVP award.
Right, it's
along
like
with it.
it's like I understand why they're doing it, I think. But the problem is when you first gave it out, like Joe said again, also before we got on, when you first give it out in 2004 and then you don't award it again until 2020, that also kind of hurts because there was no consistency then. It's like once you started it, it's like if you did it every year, then going forward, okay, fine. But you skipped 3 Olympics and then brought it back. It's like you're trying to acknowledge like who the best player was. But yeah, but here's the thing. The whole thing about the Olympics is like the spirit of competition and this, that, and the other thing.
It's not about
And
individual
obviously
awards, but the team
there are
sports.
individual sports, individual events, and then there's of course also team sports and team events. Unless they are also giving out an MVP in all the other team sports that are played, volleyball, water polo, handball,
Soccer.
beach volleyball, soccer, right? Unless they're also giving out an MVP award in all those other sports, and they might be, I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
Stuff now. Then so what? Yeah, it's like if any LeBron fans look, I'm glad LeBron played very well, obviously, because I wanted the US to win. That's all I cared about. But if anybody who's like a LeBron fan is going to go there say, "Oh, look at that, he won the MVP of the Olympics," and I'm going to be like, "So?"
Yeah, seriously. That award
All I
has
care
no
about him
clout.
winning the Olympics is a fucking gold medal, and he did. So good, yay, bravo.
Yeah. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Curry time in that medal game and the game before, they might not have been in the position to win a gold medal, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't know what the stats were of every game they played and everything, but when I saw that LeBron got this thing, I was like, huh, not Steph.
Yeah. Like LeBron had like average 14, 8, and 7 with 1.5, 1.2 steals. It was something like that. Steph didn't have a great, first 4 games or so, but like, him dropping 39 and then the high of 26 in the threes and keeping them in, hitting those threes when they needed it and all that stuff. Yeah, if he wouldn't have done any of that, it could have been a different game for US in both games. They'd be probably playing for a bronze medal and not the gold medal right now in regards to that. So yeah, it's a lot it I don't know. The MVP is just it's nonsensical to me to even have that. I mean, I think they did like an all Olympic team. And I think LeBron, Steph made it, Jokic made it. I think Wembanyama made it, and then Dennis Schroeder for Germany made it, I think too. Like the all
Schroeder.
like I was like, you guys are doing that too now? Like I was like, like, okay. I
Oh,
just
that was
They're trying to make
Schroeder.
more out of the men's Olympic basketball than what it is.
yeah,
Like,
and I
I'm
think
sorry.
you're
Well,
People
taking
they know
away.
they know it's one of the things that a lot of people are going to watch.
Right.
Yes.
And I was just about to say that out of all the events that bring viewership to the Olympics, there's two sports that stand out to me: soccer and basketball. Those are the two sports that draw. Now, it doesn't mean that other sports don't get watched, but if you're talking about overall viewership, those are going to be the big ones because
Track and field would be a third probably on there.
Track and
probably.
swimming to me are kind of like on equal playing fields in terms
Yeah.
of the importance
But
of the Olympics.
I mean,
yeah.
when you're talking about soccer, that's all the European countries, that's the
Yeah.
South American countries, all those countries. They love football with a U, or soccer as we like to call it in America, and you in pretty much every country now, basketball has become a very played sport. It's like probably second in most of those other countries that, soccer's first in. So it's just one of those things.
Basketball second.
But stop making basketball into this thing with all, all Olympic teams, and now we're handing out MVP awards. Like it's overdone. Like you said, winning a medal is your MVP. That is your prize. Like, stop making it something more now.
Yeah, and that's
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's a
100%.
foul. Yeah, they called it. All right.
One of the things I did see, I don't know, I'm sure if you guys saw, but the guy from Indiana, Tyler, I always mess up his last name.
Halibaro.
Halliburton, whatever his name
Tyrese
is.
Halliburton.
Yeah. So he posted on
I'm so
social media.
hard.
I always mess things up. So on social media, he posted, he was like, picture with his gold medal. He's like, would you haven't done nothing on the project, but you still get an A?
Yeah, because there was something I wanted to talk about, which was
Oh man.
an ESPN.
Oh, you gonna talk about
article.
Jason Tatum looking all sour and sad most of the Olympic Games because he didn't play as much as he thinks he probably should have.
Well,
I kind of think that their rotation wasn't great either. I think some of those guys should have had more of
oh
a
yeah, well, LeBron and
uh,
Curry were on the floor like the whole time practically.
yeah. And there's stretches where they struggled or their teammates struggled, so they could have had a better rotation with the two of them.
Well,
Embiid
when you
was
got
sitting
Steve
for
Kerr,
a
when you
lot
got
of it.
Steve Kerr as your head coach, of course he's gonna keep his number one guy on the court as much as possible. A little bit of favoritism there.
Yeah, Steve Kerr was going to Steph like Joker to Bob the Goon and the original Batman. You are my number one guy. But ESPN had an article yesterday. Let me just transition to this because I know we don't have a lot of time today. Predicting the 2028 Olympic men's basketball roster because there's
Oh,
never
God.
too early a time to speculate.
Well, LeBron
Um,
won't be playing because LeBron hopefully will be
Well, right.
retired.
They pretty much go that it's understood that LeBron, Curry, and Durant will not be around because they'll all be 40 plus. Or Durant will be close to 40. They say that Drew Holiday and Derek White seem unlikely to reprise their roles as defensive-minded guards because Holiday will be 38, White will be 34, and was already a last-minute addition. The two borderline cases are Davis and Embiid because Davis will be 35 and Embiid will be 34, and of course they have injury histories as well.
Embiid also announced that he might play for Cameroon next Olympics.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that Embiid played for the U.S. this year because I understand he has
He
a
could've-
citizenship,
He could have
but
played for France.
yeah,
That
like
was
he
that,
has.
that was the thing. People are pissy that the French were pissy that he wasn't playing for France, and it's like, dude, in what way is he French? He was born
He
in
has a
Cameroon.
He has a citizenship.
Does he? No, I'm just saying, if he's born in
I think
Cameroon and everything, and I don't remember seeing about like where he grew up and shit, but it's like,
I think he
if
played for one of the World Cups, I think,
Okay.
or for France or something like that.
Yeah, I think he has
But-
multiple citizenships.
But again, it's
Yeah.
like
Gotta look
if
that up.
I'll have to look up to see like how much he lived in France because, me being me, there's a bit of a whole thing about a predominantly white European country telling a African-born black man that he has to play for their country. The reeks of colonialism are just so fucking unmistakable. So
Just-
it's a
just
bit on
tad bit.
it's a bit on the hey France, go fuck yourself line. So
They just wanted to
Uh,
hopefully be better in the Olympics than what they were. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
But
yes, he was
so
born in Cameroon, but he
yeah.
holds a French citizenship and
Okay.
a American citizenship.
Okay.
So he
So
he has
he
he's got three citizenships
he
based
must
off
have he
birth and
must have
then
lived in France at some point then, or
yeah,
for
long enough to
yeah,
get a citizenship.
yeah. But
I think
still, it's
he
like
lived half part of his life there for a while.
yeah. But I don't know. It's still kind of like a yeah. So anyway,
Well,
um,
he probably played for the U.S. this year because he's like, I think I'll get a gold medal. So now he's got his gold medal in the Olympics. Now he can go to somewhere else and try and win a gold medal with a team that's probably not going to do much of anything.
yeah.
Not to say that Cameroon isn't good. I don't want to say that they're not, but I can't think of a time where I've heard Cameroon playing for a medal contention.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, you saying he wants to play for Cameroon. It's like, that's
Go for
great.
it. I mean, seriously, cool.
Would he be enough to get Cameroon into the Olympics to begin with? It's like, that's an uphill
In four
battle. I'm
years,
sorry to
if
say.
in 4 years, if he can stay out of the injury problems, stay away from his injury problems, maybe, but I
Listen,
don't see that happening.
Yeah.
how did Greece do with Giannis? That kind of tells you something right there. Like Giannis is a great player, but
Yeah, you need more than one guy.
yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
Well, they couldn't put all of those guys. Did they have all the brothers on there? Thanos, Giannis,
I
and
had to double check. I don't remember if all three were on there this time. I
I
think
thought I
two of
saw a headline about Thanos is a different player
I
on
think
the Olympic
two
team.
of them were on. Giannis and his one brother, but I don't think all three of them were on.
Well,
Because
Jeremy,
Isn't Thanos in the NBA, or is it
I
one of
think
the other
so.
brothers?
One of them is, yeah.
Well, all I can say is this, Jeremy, if you're so smart, spell Giannis's last name.
Yeah, hell
Hell
no.
no.
Oh,
I can't either. I can spell Shashevsky, but I don't remember how to spell Giannis's last.
so a side note, a side note. If any European ever makes fun of you for, we us Americans calling it soccer, tell them to go fuck themselves because they're the ones who created the word soccer in 1800s. So they're the douchebags who started the word as a slang abbreviation for the Association of Soccer, where the hell it was in the 1800s, and they used the word soccer for quite some time until 1930s or 40s when we already had American football, so we had to use another word, soccer, and then the Europeans just decided to, we don't want to use this word anymore, and took it off of everything and went back to using football, and then they want to make fun of us when they're the jackasses who created it.
Well, to be fair, we do need to rename American football. It should be called throw ball
Okay.
or pass ball.
Pigskin passing. There you go.
Or if we want to be completely accurate, massive brain injury.
Massive. So yeah, they only had Giannis. They did not have either of the brothers on there.
So neither were on there. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. All
Okay.
right.
So going on to this article, this is ESPN
Yes.
projecting the U.S. men's basketball Olympic roster in 4 years. Bam Adebayo will be back, they say. Paolo Banchero,
Who?
you know who he is. I found that one a little interesting. Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, which I was saying, remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, why isn't Brunson on this team? Damn it. Um,
I
I
don't like
just
Brunson.
found it interesting. It says here that because you mentioned Halliburton, what they said here for about Brunson was given how little Tyrese Halliburton played at point guard during the Olympics, it's fair to wonder whether the U.S. would have been better off bringing Brunson instead. Arguably the best American player not in Paris, Brunson will be over 30 in 2028, but his skill-based game should age well. Assuming Curry doesn't return, Brunson has a real shot at starting for USA next time. So, all right, moving on. They say they think Anthony Davis will be back. They think Anthony Edwards will be back. They
Yeah.
think Joel Embiid will be back. They think Tyrese Halliburton will be back. Uh, Chet Holmgren.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't have a
Um,
problem with him, but I'm not sold on him.
well, one of the reasons they say that you take Holmgren is because he's had success guarding Wembanyama.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
So,
true.
yeah. Tyrese Maxey, Jason Tatum,
I would have taken. I mean, I know they needed big guys, but uh, Maxi's a better player than Embiid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, they mentioned that Maxey was inexplicably left off the pool, which included every other All-Star eligible to represent the USA, save Julius Randle, who of course was dealing with injuries. So Maxey, Jason Tatum, and Jalen Williams. Now, under other contenders, they mentioned Scotty Barnes, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Miller, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Ja Morant, Trey Murphy, Jalen Suggs, Zion Williamson, and perhaps in some ways most intriguing because we don't know anything about what this guy is going to be like just yet.
Uh-oh.
Cooper Flag.
Oh
Uh,
man, let me tell you about that kid. He impressed the NBA players. That kid balled against the NBA players in the scrimmages. That kid was.
Yeah, that's what they
I'm
were
putting
saying.
Cooper Flag on that fucking team in 4 years.
Now, well, what they said
Hell
about
yeah.
Flag, what they said about Flag is for one thing, he'll only be 21 in four
Yes.
years. They said
Yes.
Flag stock for the 2025 draft, already sky high, rose when he held his own against the Olympic team as part of the USA select team
17.
practices in Las Vegas. But seniority counts here. Just two players have made a USA Olympic roster before age 22 since 2004. Davis in 2012 and Keldon Johnson as a last-minute replacement last time. The odds are better for Flag making his Olympic debut in 2032.
so
Where
here's
the
my
games
here's
will be
my
down under.
here's my issue with
What do you
that
think?
whole seniority rules thing. If you're putting together an Olympic team
You got to take the
where
best
there's
guys.
no where there's no voting in regards to fans, it's all coach selection. I'm picking the best freaking players that are going to give me the chance to win.
Yeah,
And
there
if
there
Flag
have
is that
been.
good, proves himself to be that good, that mother effer better be on that team.
There
Like,
have been obvious mistakes made in the past with taking people because of their seniority as opposed to the quality of their game at that point. I can't remember it happening specifically with basketball, especially because, prior to 92, of course, it was always college kids, so it was like always a different group every 4 years. But I remember the US women's soccer team several years ago,
Hmm.
I remember there was controversy. Well, yeah, well, it was Hope Solo was criticizing because like they lost some big international tournament because in her mind, and remember Hope Solo is a bit of a diva, to be honest,
Yes, she is.
to
She
put it
is.
mildly. And she's got a lot of other shit in her history, unfortunately. But she like was openly criticizing like to the media, it was like in a one-on-one interview that like, I would have made those blocks, I would have made those saves after they lost. I don't remember if it was the World Cup or the Olympics or whatever it was, but it was because like we're still relying on all the people who won, the famous Women's World Cup, the Mia Hamm, Brandy Chastain group, it's like
Yeah.
I can remember all their names. Unfortunately, my mind isn't that good. So it was like there is a time where you got to say, yeah, we got to take the people who we think are best. Now, I was still flabbergasted that they left Alex Morgan off the U.S. Olympic team this year, but maybe there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
I think that they won, so no harm, no foul, of course. But obviously, they won all three medal round games by a score of 1-0, and I'm sorry, 1-0.
Nil.
nil.
And two of those games went to extra time, because they were both scoreless. So it was like, maybe they could have used a little bit more goal scoring ability, which obviously is Alex Morgan's specialty. But, again, the coach probably felt she had a good reason to do it. And again, they won in the end. So I'm not going to complain about it. I will say this, though, too. Brazil had a goal waved off fairly early in the game yesterday when Brazil was just thoroughly dominating the game in the first half.
Yeah, they were the
And
first 10 minutes.
yeah, and the goal got waved off for being offsides. Then the U.S. goal that was scored, the Brazilians were saying she was offsides. They went to like the replay to see if she was offsides, and they ruled she wasn't. I gotta be perfectly honest. I thought the U.S. girl, who is the wife of Cub star Dansby Swanson, I thought she was more obviously offsides than the Brazilian girl was on the one that got disallowed. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I not going to complain or anything, but I just found that a little interesting. That was, and again, I haven't like gone back and like looked at the replays endlessly to scrutinize them, but that's what my little eye saw. So
And that was that game yesterday too. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it before I had to leave for esports and whatnot, but that was a physical game. I watched some of the replay of the that game last night. I think I watched like the last 5 minutes of regular time, then watched the rest of the extra time. Man, there was some physicality in that game. Like there was
there
a
was
lot
a
of
lot.
trash talking in that game too and whatnot. I was like, damn, like they're
There was there
they're
was a
going
lot
at
of
it.
there's a lot of chippiness, yeah, and a lot of what I'm seeing in this women's basketball game right now too. I
Todd
feel like
So
sometimes that some of these countries feel like that the best way to play against American teams anymore, no matter really what the sport
is to be
is
physical.
is is to be physical. But I think that sometimes that physicality crosses over into illegality in the sense of like now you're playing beyond the rules. Like you're trying to be physical, but what you're really trying to do is you're just trying to put a body on somebody, and hey, if they go down, if they get hurt, great.
It's one of those
so
things too with the Olympics is that, you know, we just surpassed 3,000 medals total combined from winter and summer. And the team that's in second place is the former Soviet Union with like, I think almost 1,400 medals total. And then next third place is like Germany with 1,047 at the beginning of this Olympics. So like we've legitimately dominated the Olympics throughout the existence. And I think we're in first place too for the most gold medals, summertime and then combined for summer and winter. So I
Now,
was like,
my question about this is that just Soviet Union or is that Soviet Union and Russia?
it's just no, it's just that's just Soviet Union is its own thing. So after the Soviet Union, what's Russia, it has its own count of medals. They
Yeah,
don't
see, that's the problem, of course, is that it's like, yeah, the Soviet Union obviously was more than just Russia because it's like if you wanted to,
because of all the other countries that kind of like
right, the
separated and
Soviet
became
Union
their
also
own.
consisted of what's now Belarus and Ukraine
Yes.
and Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania and Kazakhstan and all the other
Czech
stans that are in.
Republic and
I think like if
Oh,
you would
not
no,
add
that.
I know. I'm just
Russia's
kidding.
medals in there, they still wouldn't
Yeah.
even be at
Well,
2,000 medals.
yeah,
So
my
we're
other point then too was that of course there's Germany, but for a time, of course, there was East Germany and West Germany, so it's
yeah.
that's the thing about it too, is it's like, and then if you want to say United Kingdom, it's like, okay, so you're counting Great Britain and Wales and Scotland and Ireland because I think they all compete separately. So just like, I mean, hey, Puerto Rico gets to compete and they're a US possession and everything. So it's like
Yeah.
it gets a little on the, how exactly are we dividing this all up now?
Yeah, but we dominate in the medals. So, everyone wants to gun for us all the time.
Yeah, that is, and of course, everybody thinks the U.S. is arrogant and the U.S. is crass and the U.S. is this, and we are. But go fuck yourself. So, um,
Sorry, Jeremy. I didn't mean to cut you off when you were about to.
No, that's all right. So I came across something on TikTok and I found it really, really funny. It was an Australian news site talking about the Olympics and they were talking about, sports and stuff like that. And they were talking about how the US counts medals wrong because when the US news airs the Olympic and goes by medal count, they go by total medal count, not by gold medal count.
Yeah,
And how they're
I've seen that.
and it
this is
was I
CBS
was
both.
I
CBS
was
Sports does
laughing.
that too. They go by the total of gold medals as far as your standings and not the total.
So I was laughing because they're like, yes, if you go by what the U.S. news is broadcasting, then yes, the United States has more medals overall. But Olympic medal counts go by the gold count to say who's in the tournament. And the only reason they're doing this, and I don't know, I guess it happens every 4 years when the Olympics go on, for especially like Summer Olympics. Australia has this beef with us for some reason
For swimming.
in regards to how many if they're beating the U.S. because if they've got more gold medals then they're beating the U.S. Which is funny because yeah they always start off strong because swimming's like in the first couple days like swimming's part of the first week of Olympics
Mhm.
and then they fall off because they have no other athletes
So
that do
to
anything.
to piggyback
Because
off
now we're
that,
beating Australia in gold medal count too by like a large margin.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick. Right now, the medal count: U.S. 39 gold, 44 silver, 42 bronze. Australia 18, 19, 16, aka suck it.
so during the swimming meets, like the last 2 days of swimming, they actually, I think it was one of the relays, when the men had won the relay, they had brought up, because there is a beef with it, it's really it's because of the swim teams. So they have a count of who has the most gold medals, and we ended up beating them in swimming. We had 8 gold medals, they only had 7. So it's a legit competition for whatever reason. Whenever it started, like they keep a track of that, and like, yeah, yeah, we got that in. We weren't thinking about it, like, yeah, you were, but yeah, we got that in. Glad we got that one up on them. But it's like, yeah, so it's all because of the swim team, which is hilarious because they can't beat us in any, there's no other fucking sport they can really like beat us in for the most part. So whatever.
Well, I look at it like this too. I kind of lost what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
No,
Where's
like
this
okay,
going?
so the only I mean the gold medal count right now is China 49, United States 39. I'm sorry, China 40, United States 39. Then you drop all the way down to Japan with 20. Okay, so China and the U.S. are head and shoulders above everybody else in the terms
And
of
it's
gold
always
medals.
been like that too. Like
It's
every
been like
Summer
that for
Olympics is
several
like.
years now, yes, especially when Russia isn't allowed to compete. Um, hey, there's a reason they're not allowed to compete, so
Yes,
um,
no, we
I know,
know.
I
yeah.
know.
But I would want to, and of course, just going to like ESPN's medal tracker, for example, there's no real easy way to break it down, as they say, because show me the golds, show me what the golds were won in, and there's always certain sports that the United States is not good in. Like we never really win medals in weightlifting. We don't win medals in shooting. We don't win medals in a lot of long distance running, stuff like that. I would just be curious to see if the US has more golds in a bigger variety of the sports, as opposed to is China's more narrowly focused. Really in any country too, not just I just want to see like where the special what I'm trying to say is I think the US has always been a little bit more overall well-rounded in terms of the overall Olympic team. Like there aren't events like where we're sending people where it's like, well, we know we have no chance of winning medals. There are some.
Like
Um,
breakdancing.
hmm? What was that?
Breakdancing, mountain
like,
climbing.
like breakdancing. Australia sent breakdancers to the Olympics. Breakdancing was an Olympic sport this year.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Your face
All right.
says it all, dude.
Are, are you fucking with me?
No.
Breakdancing was an Olympic sport this year?
Yep,
Yes.
you got to
It's
look
one
up
of the new one. It's one of the new ones.
You got to look up the female Australian breakdancer. It is the most viral thing on all of internet social media because she looked. They are comparing her to remember that lady that came on and say, "Hey everybody, I'm so and I'm going to teach you about hip hop. See the way I'm walking." Like I can't think of her name right now.
Okay, so
But
once again, breakdancing
yes,
Yes.
is an Olympic sport.
Correct.
yes.
Okay, excuse me 1 second, please.
I forget with all the new sports, like there was like the
All right, now that that's taken care of,
know how they had
okay, breakdancing, breaking to electric boogaloo. Here we go. What the fuck? And I
you
thought it
know
was
how
weird when they put skateboarding in.
that skateboard, you know how they have like the indoor mountain climbing, places? They
They
have
got speed.
they have speed
They got
mountain climbing.
Speed
Yeah.
mountain climb. That was crazy. That dude was up that wall in like 3 seconds. I was like, holy shit.
Dude, okay. If you're going to put indoor mountain climbing as an Olympic sport too, I humbly offer a suggestion for another new Olympic sport then.
Here we
I mean,
go.
Actually, two.
3x3 basketball was new like 2
Well, yes, I
Olympics
know the
ago
3x3
too.
basketball, and I know we sucked in that.
Well, this year we did, yes.
Well, we had Haley Van Lith in there, so I blame that on her.
Listen, we
Hold
have
on, I
mountain
gotta look
biking,
something up
BMX
here.
racing, BMX freestyle. Let's see.
What did they call that thing? Sorry,
Listen, one thing I do miss in the Olympics, and I don't know why it's always in and out, in and out. We know like why baseball is always in and out, but softball, like I loved watching Olympic softball because I think we can.
Yeah, why is that not? It's not in there anymore. They got rid of Olympic softball.
It's
baseball and
weird.
softball are. I think they're coming back in 2028,
I think
but
so. Yeah, they
and
base.
let me just get on the record right now. Interrupt the MLB season for the Olympics in 4 years? Fuck no.
No, they'll put the college kids in.
No, they won't necessarily put college kids. I mean, take AAA players if you want or whatever, but don't
Yeah,
do
I'm
it
not
to
sure
youth
if they.
players. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know if that goes against like
It could, yeah, I don't know, but
the triple because I thought about that. Let's put like the futures, like the high end AAA future players. But I don't know if some teams would want that either. But I don't know.
okay,
It's
then take like the quad A players, the guys who are like shuttled back and forth between major league rosters and AAA rosters, get DFA'd when somebody comes back from, that kind of shit.
yeah,
Because yeah, the problem is that the US goes and loses in international Olympic baseball again, especially if it's like to Japan or Cuba or one of the other Caribbean countries or whoever, or South Korea maybe. There's going to be all the things saying, "Oh, they're having their professional players play, and we're not." And it's like, yeah, winning a World
softball
Series.
though we
My
can
team
definitely
winning a
do
World
something.
Series is a hell of a lot more important than the U.S. winning a gold medal in baseball. That's one spot where I'll draw a line.
Yeah, I will say that I legitimately want to go to the Olympics in 2028. Like I don't care if it's for 2 or 3 days. I just want to go and go see some Olympic stuff.
I've always been kind of scared about going to LA for some reason, just because I'm afraid that I would like get onto the freeway and get killed or something. All cliche shit, but
Correct.
I don't know. I think there's other reasons I'd more want to go to LA than to go to the Olympics too. But again, the Olympics is such a rarity, so
That's kind of the thing. Like
and God only knows if the Summer Olympics will get back to the United States in my lifetime after that. So yeah.
yeah, and that's the other thing too, and I don't want to be like in my 70s traveling to one of the US cities to go to the Olympics. 2028, that would be I mean, I'll be 51, but let's not talk about that. But yeah. Um yeah, I wouldn't mind traveling to LA and picking out a couple events to go to and get tickets for to see. Men's basketball will be one of them, but I would definitely, like to go see some, beach volleyball and some other stuff too. At, track and field, 100%, see a couple events.
You and I could go to the Olympics in LA together, and we could be playing the Randy Newman song constantly.
Yep. It'd be,
Anyway,
it'd be
I,
fun.
I found the thing I was looking for about regarding breakdancing and 3x3 basketball. We really want to see what athletes are made of. There are two classic events from American television that need to be added to the Olympic Games.
Oh
I'm
boy.
talking the American Gladiators Eliminator event and the Aggro
Nice.
Crag. You put the fucking Aggro Crag in the Olympics, and if you don't know what the Aggro Crag is, man, you are too young or you were deprived as a child.
Let's just throw pickleball up in that bitch. We got this.
Dude, don't even, that will happen sooner than later at
Oh,
this
it
rate.
will. I guarantee you, 2020. I guarantee you, they'll put in a bid to have that
By
added in 20.
2032, I bet you pickleball is an Olympic sport.
It will be in the next
Oh, for
Olympic
sure.
or two. Yes, that pickleball baby. Let's go.
I found some
Listen, we
clip
got
that I think was
curling. We could do pickleball, right?
I found some clip for that was from like the Daily Show, I think, where one of the correspondent slash host was interviewing some guy who's like a tennis enthusiast, and that's fine, obviously. Tennis is great, but he was bitching about how like tennis courts are being overrun by people playing pickleball and all this and that,
Because no
and
one's
he
playing tennis.
and he quite obviously did not know that the host was making fun of him. He was completely oblivious to it. It was pretty fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
Because those are always the best interviews on the Daily Show and everything, where the person they're interviewing doesn't realize that they're sounding like an idiot or being made fun of, you know?
Oh yeah. What do we got
All
here?
right.
Seriously though, Olympic aggro crag.
You got to give me rights to share. Gotta
Okay.
share something.
Yeah. I forgot. Sorry. Let me get that.
And obviously, if we're going to put the American
There you go.
Gladiators Eliminator event in, we have to have the theme music playing while the event is going on. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh God, yes.
One of these days, I'll get around and watching that 30 for 30 or thing that the ESPN did about American Gladiators, where I think,
Oh, it was good.
where I think they were, wasn't
was
the premise
good.
that they basically forced all the, gladiators to be like roided up freaks and shit?
I don't think they forced him to do it, but
It was encouraged.
it was encouraged to a point because, you know, it's one of those things where if they got injured, they lost their spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of them just did it because they just wanted to keep they wanted the limelight. That's the other part too.
I mean, I get it. You get on TV, you get that little bit of fame and everything. You want to keep it as long as I mean, American Gladiators to me was so analogous to wrestling in so many ways that it was,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Pat and Joe, can you see this?
Yes.
You're gonna make me watch this while I'm trying to focus on the last minute and a half of the basketball game.
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
So,
Okay.
and this is no way, okay, I give any credit to anybody who's an Olympic athlete, okay? You're there for a reason. But this is the best that Australia had to offer as far as female breakdancers. Okay, now this is not the full routine. This is like clips of her routine, okay, along with some. Pat will know what it is, and so will you, Joe. But I'll let you guys just listen in.
And then another.
What the hell is that?
And then another. And then another.
And she ended it with the T-Rex pose. Like, what the?
Okay. Let me just say a couple things real quick. Number one, props to whoever overdubbed the Peter Griffin singing the Beverly Hills Cop theme over the top of that.
Yes.
No notes, brilliant. Mwah. Number two,
God.
even when I was thin, which of course we got to go back to when I was about 12, I could never do shit like that. I was never bendy or flexible enough or coordinated
man.
enough to do shit like that. So props to her for being able to get down, get in, and do that kind of stuff. Number three, what the fuck was that? I know I don't know shit about breakdancing, and I'm like the whitest person imaginable when it comes to trying to understand shit like that. But I've seen breakdancing, which, as far as I know, was authentic breakdancing from, stuff in movies and television from like the 80s and early 90s and shit when it was really in vogue and stuff. And what she was doing was not that. So, again, what the hell was
Good
that?
pick and roll on that play. Good pick and roll. I have no idea what that was. That was like, I don't know.
I mean,
I felt like I was
look,
watching
she could-
Santino do some skit on a WWE show.
Oh, yeah. Because let's be honest here, too.
Although I
She
saw
could
the
not have
Cobra.
been- she could not have been the only person whose idea of breakdancing was that. And I'm not talking about people watching, I'm talking about people competing. So if that's what you're getting as far as competitors for this, how the fuck did this become an Olympic sport? I need to know.
I don't know. Now listen, I watched a couple of the of the competitions between the people because it would do it where you were competing against somebody else and it was like 2 rounds, whatever the case may be. And there was some really cool shit. But at the same point, I also questioned the scoring system, and I watched a guy from Japan go against a guy from like the Netherlands, and legitimately, the dude from the Netherlands won, and I was super surprised because the guy from Japan was doing some crazy ass breakdancing shit, and I was like, how is this guy not winning this dance off with this guy? Like, how is he losing this? I'm like, I didn't look to see what the scoring system was, what they judge on, but like if you're looking at breakdancing and we're having a old school breakdancing competition, like a battle. The dude from Japan won. I don't understand where they got that the dude from the Netherlands won. Like he did some cool shit, but he did some basic stuff too. And the guy in Japan was just way more innovative with some of his stuff. And I was just like, what are they doing? I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not really buying
Yeah,
into this right now.
yeah, you're scored against your opponent's moves, evidently. Like they score you against each other. Like
And it's just
so,
weird. Like I just,
yeah.
and there was a couple other ones too where I was kind of like, how is that one beating that one? Like,
Yeah, like
I don't know.
that too is a problem I have with a lot of Olympic sports as an overall. Anything which isn't completely clearly decided, sorry, decided by team A was clearly better than team B, or athlete A was clearly better than athlete B. Like, it's not like a race or like an actual like a game or something. Anything where it's subjective, where it's based upon scoring. So figure skating and gymnastics are the first two that I always point to, but obviously there's
Yeah.
other ones. And obviously, of course, there are certain guidelines where it's like, oh, you lose a point for this, or you lose a tenth of a point for this, and that's fine. But there is still way too much subjectivity, and we've seen shit like that. I don't remember now if it was either the 1992 or 1994 Winter Olympics where the one American male figure skater only won a silver because one judge scored him super low, and like I think like 3 or 4 tenths of a point lower than literally every other judge.
Yep.
Okay. And it was there was like nothing ever came of that as far as like a scandal or what have you. But it was like that score pretty much single-handedly cost him the gold medal. And again, it was like, what was she looking at that all the other judges didn't see? Because there's like what, 8 judges, I think.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. There's so many judges. Then of course there was the scandal at the Salt Lake Games with the ice dancers and everything.
Oh,
So it was like,
yeah.
anything that's dependent upon scores like that is always going to be me like, yeah, it's great, but. And so a lot of gymnastics is like that. And now, of course, there's a whole thing. They just changed the score on the one American girl, so she lost. She's going to have to give back the bronze medal that she was awarded, which is pretty fucking sorry if you ask
Yeah,
me.
Childs yeah, she dropped from third to fifth.
Yeah, but it's like you already awarded her the medal. Now you're forcing her to give it back. Here, I got a response to you for that one, and you know what it is? The double deuce.
Double birds, bitches.
Yeah, so that's my issue. It's like so if you're adding another sport again, which based upon scoring, judging, it's like, oh, come on, man. But then of
Yeah.
course, skateboarding, I guess, is like that too. So
Yeah, anything
Yeah, a
that's
little
left up
bit.
to the interpretation of the judge and like, oh, that was really nice. And that's why I'm
I just put
like
less stock in those sports. I just do. It's I
well,
just
and that's what's hard for me with the Olympics. Not the Olympics, with the goodness gracious, um what? Gymnastics. That's hard for me with gymnastics because gymnastics is somewhat subjective too
Mhm.
on certain aspects of it. Like, was their leg tucked enough or what? And some
Did
of
they
that stuff
stick the
happens.
landing enough? Was there a slight hop, or did her feet remain completely
Like some of
firm when
that's
she
very
hit?
subjective because some of those things happen so fast. I don't know if the human eye can actually catch it.
Mhm.
So it's like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, it's and gymnastics is so weird because the routine, it's scored like the difficulty of the routine. If you have a high difficulty um routine, then like if you don't do as well, you can still outscore the person who has a lower difficulty routine but nails it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like an up and down with that too. It's like, oh, it's
Well,
fair,
and
not
that's
fair. Like, how's that work?
well, and that's where Simone Biles, um, kind of saved herself a little bit because she had such, like on her floor routine particularly, she had such a high level of difficulty with the stunts that she was throwing in the
She's
or I
the only
should
one
say
that
the
can do
passes that
it.
and she stepped out on one of them that even though that's a point deduction, because her starting value was so high, it didn't hurt her in the
Yeah.
way that it would hurt other, you know, athletes doing
Yeah,
that same
no.
floor exercise. So it's like crazy, but I understand it more just because of my daughter being in cheer. So I understand like how that scoring, the whole scoring starts because they have that. It's not the same. It's similar in the aspects of like you have a starting score, you know, based on like what your team can do. So
Yeah, 100%. And cheering, that's my cousin's daughter did cheer and whatnot competitions, and that's the scoring in there. I don't understand it too. I feel like I'm watching like an Olympic event or in gymnastics. Like it's like, how did they outscore that one? I thought that one was better than that one. Like, well, how is this possible?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like if I need like a 20-page primer on just how to understand the scoring system, then
yeah. Well, what I learned, especially last year, because I was very I knew like I kind of understood the scoring, but I never understood like my wife is always like, "Oh, we max out everything." I'm like, "Well, if you're maxing out everything, why are we not doing better?" And it's because they have it in categories. So you can max out your tumbling category, you can max out this, but then there's like subcategories within those in regards to execution of it. You know, all these things that are subjective aspects of the scoring for each team. So
Yeah.
even though you might max out like your tumbling, your stunting, and things like that, these are the things where you lose your points on that are within that category, so to say, that, okay, you know, your feet weren't not every athlete had their feet pointed when they did jumps, or the jumps were
Gotcha.
done in unison. Like some kids were coming up and some kids were starting to go down already. Like those are the things where they start to lose points. And that's what really makes the difference. So, because like she's told me, every team maxes out their stuff. Now it's about how well do you execute everything
was
as
a
a
2.
whole.
That was a 2.
You're a 2 with a 10 behind it.
What got me mad is they left the girl open on the left side to bring the ball up to make that pass to begin with.
Yeah,
Dumb.
you
Just
you can't defend 4 seconds. Come on.
Dumb.
Like, look, they
Yeah,
left the
that's
girl.
clearly a 2.
Did they give
Yeah,
her the
she's
3?
on the line.
No, they only scored it a 2, but now they have the suspense where they're going to go look at it just to make sure. But her foot was clearly over the line. So
It's a 2, damn you.
This game should not have been this close either.
No, it shouldn't have. The U.S. let themselves play France's game.
Squeaked it out. Oh, which speaking about the physicality of basketball and stuff. Ooh, that girl's got a shiner. Michelle Bouray. Or Bouray. I'm not sure. Boury.
I'll give her a
Bouray.
shiner.
She had a shiner.
I don't know why
Michelle.
I said that. That was very
Michelle
stupid.
Bouray. She got double last name. Very cool. Physicality of sports, basketball and soccer. 2 sports that men are very good at flopping at and over exaggerating. But when it comes to the women's end, yes, is there some acting? Of course there is, because you want to try and make sure that a foul is recognized when you feel you got fouled. But what I don't see is women hitting the floor like dead fish and flopping around like they got shot by a bazooka. Okay, maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, the bazooka,
or a
because they
No,
pinky swipes their
it's
forehead
not.
and they go flopping back and flailing and falling on the ground and oh my god, my eye. No, bro, you got hit in the forehead with a pinky.
No, it's not an exaggeration. That's always been one of my biggest complaints about men's soccer is that I'm like the women always act and play much tougher than the men do.
Yeah.
I will say this though, there were a few times in the U.S. Brazil women's final yesterday that I was watching and I was going, are
Yeah.
we starting to get a little theatrical now in the women's game? But
Yeah,
then, like
there's-
when they showed like a replay, I was kind of like, oh, okay, you're kind of running and, oh, she did grab her by the hip. You're running at full speed and all of a sudden, like your momentum gets whacked like that. You could go tumbling to the fucking turf. So the
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
yeah, I very rarely will I see women like stay down on the ground and like linger. They usually are popping right back up as quick as they can because they know the play doesn't stop. You
Yeah.
And I
know,
wonder if that's because of the stereotype of women in sports is women are, gentile creatures.
it
They're
probably
not
is.
as strong, so they purposely don't flop around because they've already gotten that stereotype from the public as, you're not as strong, you're
It's
this, you're that, you're this other thing.
It's
Where
no,
one
men
thing.
can
it
get away
definitely
with it
is. It's
because
like I
men are
think they're saying like,
men.
yeah, we're tough, we can do this.
They want to prove themselves too. Like
Yeah,
we're
but
not gonna
but
be pansies like the men do in these sports, and
right, that's
we're
the
gonna
whole
get
thing.
back up and we're gonna fucking keep going.
I never, maybe because it just happens so often and it's like so accepted now or whatever. I never hear
Hey,
the
LeBron and the
tough.
guys are there.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm
Congratulations.
glad. That's cool.
They should
I,
be.
but I never hear like the manliness of men's soccer players question when they fucking flop and go down and act like pansies, like you said. You never hear them question like their manliness, and it's like maybe they
Yeah.
should. If you started questioning,
I question it every time.
well, I'm saying like as an overall, like in the media especially, it's like
Yes.
it's just like become like an accepted thing for some fucking reason. But it's like if you actually started questioning the manliness of some of these guys, it would infuriate some of them so much. It's like, hey, maybe they'd stop doing it. Just a thought, just a theory.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
And I personally think the media should scrutinize. I shouldn't say scrutinize, but call it out like more often, not to make fun of them but just to shed light on it. Hey, that would,
Start calling them drama
recap of the
queens.
game, and oh, look it, the guy fell to the ground, but nothing happened. I'm
Yeah,
not sure why he did.
Start calling them drama queens. Use that exact terminology, and you'll start
Yeah.
to see these people go like, blah, blah.
Because
Yeah.
you see it on YouTube. If you ever watch like YouTube and you go on to like most like the people put together like videos of like greatest flops of all time, like soccer flops of all time, and some of that shit is funny. Like I saw the one dude, he faked getting headbutted. The guy never even moved his head, but he saw the referee starting to turn around, so he acted like he got headbutted, and the guy got a yellow card. I was like, what the fuck is
Well,
that shit?
here's here's something to wonder then. Um, has anybody ever done like a video of that showing like the best flops of all time and like just like the video that you just showed where like somebody overlaid the Peter Griffin, sound on top of the routine. Has anybody ever done a video of those greatest flops and like overlaid like the sound of like gunshots when somebody goes down to like
I
kind
think
of
so.
like
I'm pretty sure.
emphasize?
I'm pretty sure I've
I've
seen
not
one
seen
like
it.
that.
That'd be hilarious.
I should look for something like that. I'm afraid of like trying to search for something like that on a video sharing site. What might come up, or two, what they might think of me. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to watch soccer players, pretend to get shot.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I've seen a video like that. There's one guy that I come across on TikTok that does like stuff like that, but it's not. They're like highlights. They're more like highlight videos, but he throws in random sounds like the from Family Guy where Peter Griffin and them are playing Super Nintendo, they're playing Nintendo and they're playing Double Dribble, and he's like quarter three,
Corner
like
three.
so like he throws like stuff like that and whoops, like, and guys fly past somebody when they do like a jump stop or whatever, and the guy like goes flying past them. Just random stuff like that, like little sound bites like that into the highlights. So they make them much more entertaining than just watching a highlight. But
Yeah,
it's
like they did the clip of like, Bo Jackson running for the entire quarter. They always said Tecmo Bowl, but I can tell you from having played the game so much that is Tecmo Super Bowl
beautiful.
that
Yes.
clip is from. But what they also did is like the player that's like that Quagmire is selected as for the 49ers is some guy named Varys. He was not with the 49ers for Tecmo Super Bowl, though I think he was for Tecmo Bowl. So I don't know how exactly they did that. Because again, I know what the gameplay differences between the original Tecmo Bowl and
Mhm.
Tecmo Super Bowl were, and that was most certainly from Tecmo Super Bowl. Okay. So I'm just like, I don't quite know how they did that one, but whatever. So
I and it's I have to laugh because somebody really did that at one point in time, like
well, yeah,
legitimately
yeah.
ran
Family Guy
around
didn't
with
do that. They
both.
took the
Yeah,
existing
yeah, they
video.
took the like, and that's the crazy thing. Like somebody literally played Tecmo Super Bowl as Bo Jackson in the Raiders and ran around the entire thing for an entire quarter or however I forget how
Yeah,
that game was
because
broken up.
there were in Tecmo Super Bowl, the quarters were only 5 minutes, but the time when
Super fast.
it was like
Yeah.
instead of like it was like
It was like 3 times speed.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm just like, I never even thought about doing that as a kid. I just wanted to score touchdowns, and
Hell
somebody's like
yeah,
had the
that's what I was
genius
trying to
idea
do.
of like,
I wanted to rack up stats because that was the thing I always loved about Tecmo Super Bowls, that it kept stats for the whole season. So I
Yeah.
wanted to have like, all the rushing yards and all the passing yards, and I wanted to have 250 sacks with Lawrence Taylor, who of course could not be stopped in that game.
yes.
So
But it was just like that, like the fact that somebody actually is like, I wonder if I could do this, and then they did it, like
Yeah.
ran around for an entire quarter and scored a touchdown with like 1 second left.
that's
I'm like,
that's
that's
what I would
crazy.
kind of be curious of. How many attempts did it take somebody to do that?
Because Bo
Because while
Jackson in
Bo
that game was
Jackson
almost
was-
unstoppable.
Yeah, because while Bo Jackson, could outrun everybody, and also a lot of guys when they would try to tackle him would do that whole bounce off him thing. Like I would always, of course, always plays the Giants, and Otis Anderson was there back then, and he could do that to a certain extent too. Where a lot of times he'd be running through the hole, guy would come and tackle him, and said the guy would just go flying off of him. Bo did it much better, of course. So it's like you could do that with Bo, but still, it's like you've got 11 guys chasing you. Or even though again it's not 5 minutes, it's at least 2.5 or so, or maybe at least two. I don't know, but again, your fingers gonna get tired of holding down the fucking D-pad and shit. And it's like, yeah, your teammates might help you by getting in the way of it, like throwing blocks as the plays continue and everything. But still, you've got to like outrun them. And again, to do it, you can't score because there's the time I think where he gets very close to the end zone and then turns around.
Yeah, you got busted
it's
you
like-
and do that all over again to avoid the whole fucking team.
Yeah, because you can't stop. If you stop, they'll tackle you, obviously. So you got to keep going. You got to go. Oh, so Jesus Christ, the fact that somebody ever did that is just hysterical to me.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
They have not
But
updated
hey.
the medal count. Okay, they have updated the medal count. We have now retied China for gold medals, and I think that was the last event in the Olympics. I don't think anything was on the schedule after the women's basketball final.
Mm.
So if that's true, we will finish tied with China in golds and be plus 35 in total medals. Yeah, we also won the most silver and the most bronze. Suck at everybody else. How many times have I said suck it today?
He's in a DX mood today.
Oh, let's get ready to suck it.
Let's see.
Oh, who's texting me? Oh, Chisholm hit 2 home runs. That's right. Fucking Yankees, man.
Yeah, because cycling, we won a medal in that earlier today, right?
Did we?
And then handball was done
Oh.
today.
I love handball. I wish
Water
we-
polo was done today. There's wrestling, weightlifting.
I think all that's over though. According to the schedule thing
be.
that's here on ESPN, the thing that had the latest start time today was the women's basketball game.
Okay.
Because today's the last day. They got to do the closing ceremonies. Everybody's got to be like present and accounted for that and everything. So
Yeah, let me just double. Yeah, it might have been actually. Yeah, because I think everything else is really done. You know what I had fun watching too? Rugby. The rugby sevens. Those were fun games. Those were fun to watch.
Yes.
I'm telling you, team handball is a hell of a lot of fun, especially if you ever play it.
Here's another thing. Trampoline gymnastics. I forgot about that being a sport.
Trampoline gymnastics.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. That would be cool to watch just because of how high they could probably get and start flipping and twisting.
Yeah, they had their finals around the 2nd of August. They're done like halfway through. But yeah, I was like, geez.
I'll get my
So
daughter into that. All right, it's time for you to get into trampoline gymnastics.
get on the trampoline. Don't tell me you're worried about breaking your leg.
Because we
Let's
just
get this
actually
done.
purchased it. We put a new trampoline in the backyard now. Because the old one had a hole in the mat and the net was destroyed, so it was like time to get a new one. So we got one of those rectangular ones.
Just
So
oh boy.
Yeah, it's badminton's on. I'm like, dude, if we have badminton, like Jesus God.
Just don't be like that trampoline park that's up close to me that got shut down or shut itself down, but now is supposedly reopening, where
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
people were getting hurt, I guess, and they were getting sued multiple times over, and it's like, why am I not surprised?
I never saw anybody get injured there
Well,
when I was there, but
yeah, I mean, but it only takes one or two instances, so.
yeah, I always wondered why they were shutting down. I saw that and I was like, huh, they definitely weren't hurting for money because there was always people there.
Yeah,
I
that's why I was
think
shocked too. But like, I mean,
I
and nothing's been confirmed about it, of course. But the belief was that they had multiple pending lawsuits.
I think there was something where some of their equipment was not maintained properly, and some of the injuries were caused by the equipment being faulty.
And I could see that as a possibility because those things need to be checked out pretty consistently because I mean the amount of people that you have jumping them on just a weekly basis is a lot. So, and you're not limiting the weight as far as because most trampolines have a weight limit on them too. So, and you're not going by a weight limit on those things to say, okay, well, we got to make sure that we don't have anybody, 500 pounds jumping on these because they can't take that. But, in the same turn, they probably don't have anybody that large going out there and trying to jump on the trampolines. But I think it probably happened. My guess would be it probably happened in the dodgeball courts where that kind of stuff was happening because there's mass people in there running around, running into each other, So.
Yeah, a couple things. It could probably happen in a couple different areas with that place. Did you guys
In the basketball rims.
Oh God. Did you guys see the I don't know if you guys saw this, but for the Olympic sport, the water sport, the
Polo?
rhythmic
Oh,
no,
synchronized swimming?
Yes. Did you see the one group that went to the Michael Jackson song and they did the moonwalk underwater? That was dope as hell.
No, I
It
did
was
not see that.
awesome.
I did
Yeah,
not
you
watch
got
Rhythm and
I didn't watch it either, but I found a clip where they showed I don't remember if it was the USA team or not. I just saw a clip on Facebook Reels and they were doing their routine to one of Michael Jackson's song and they were underwater and they were all upside down. They're all doing the moonwalk like all together. It was pretty cool, to be honest with you. They did some cool stuff in the routine.
Nice.
How does one moonwalk underwater?
And they use what was it? What is it called? It was like because they're not allowed to because they have to like dress properly and their hair has to be done. They use like some gelatin hardening shit where they comb that into the girls' hairs to style it and they let it harden and it like hardens and then they go in the water. It doesn't like yeah, they use some special shit for their hair they have to sit there, they style it and then have to sit there for like 3 or 4 hours for it to truly like get hard and then they're able to do their routine. So they got to be up like getting prepared like hours
ridiculous.
before their routine just to do
Here,
that.
put this crap in your hair.
Yeah, that was a crazy part. I was like, wow, they got to do all that shit just to. I was wondering how they kept their hair like that, but yeah, that's what they do. Very interesting, I will say.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oy, oy, oy. Looks like it's about that time, gentlemen.
Is it
Is
about
it?
that time?
Do you have to go now?
I do need to start getting going.
Darn, I wanted to go off on a rant, but they can wait.
Well, I can leave and you can continue on and you can rant all you would like.
Nah, because it's the kind of thing that I think is better to all of us to
Okay, well, save your rant for next time.
Give input on, yeah.
Don't forget your rant. Write it down on a sticky note.
Oh, I probably won't. Hopefully the post will reappear.
Okay.
Just make a note for yourself.
Because right now it's gone.
Oh,
Oh,
they
no.
took it down. They're like, ooh, we know Pat's got something to say. We'll take this down.
The question, of course, is who took it down?
Hmm. Oh,
Uh-oh.
I'm curious now. Okay. We can save.
I'm gonna go to an AEW possible post.
No, it has nothing to do with AEW. It
Oh,
has
okay.
nothing to do with wrestling.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, then I'm.
We're gonna put a pause. Doop, pause.
it has something to do with the fan base that is far more toxic than any wrestling fan base ever could be.
Oh,
Well, that would be the Eagles, maybe.
Oh, jeez, we've gone over this before.
oh, funny.
All
Okay.
right. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been fun. We hope everybody, when you see this, you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed talking about it. We talked about something different. It was nice to talk just about Olympics. We just talked Olympic sports and pretty much the entire time. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we always
Good
don't have to go into the wrestling world because it gives us all migraines. We know.
There wasn't that much interesting going on in wrestling this past week either. I mean, yay,
No.
Roman's back, but you know,
So,
Nothing else.
so good fun, good talking about the Olympics. We got some good laughs in. Unfortunately, on behalf of a female Australian breakdancer, sorry, we apologize. Just was really bad. Can't help it.
we weren't laughing at you.
We were laughing with the rest of everybody else laughing
We
at
were
you.
laughing with everyone else
Correct.
Yes.
at
So,
you.
with that said, we thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you had a good time, and we hope you stick around and you finish with us.
Oh, yeah.